Clara's hands trembled as she rifled through Emily's room, the smell of lavender and old books lingering in the air. She was right here. She couldn't have just gone. David's voice was low, shaky, like he was clinging to reality by a thread. Outside, the street was eerily quiet, the kind of silence that made every creak in the house feel sinister. Clara thought she heard a soft knock at the window, but when she turned, nothing stirred. What if someone took her? David whispered. Panic clawed at her chest, yet a deeper, colder dread settled. What if Emily knew something they didn't, that made her vanish on purpose? Her phone buzzed. A message from Lucas. "You need to know." I think she was scared. Clara's pulse raced. Who was watching, and what horrifying truth had Emily uncovered? By sunrise, Clara and David were pounding the neighborhood, calling Emily's name, their voices cracking against the empty streets. "Emily, please, come back." Clara's plea echoed off shuttered houses, her heart a drum of terror. David scanned the familiar sidewalks with a growing sense of helplessness, noticing details he had never seen. The half-open gate at the park, a torn backpack strap on the curb. Sophia appeared at the corner, holding an umbrella, eyes wide. I didn't see anything last night, but I'll help. We'll find her." Clara nodded, but every instinct screamed that something sinister had already touched her daughter. Lucas appeared at the edge of the street, pale and hesitant. I think she left a message for me. She was scared of someone," he murmured. The knot of dread tightened. This wasn't just a disappearance. By mid-morning, the James family sat in the local precinct, the air thick with fluorescent light and quiet murmurs. Detective Marcus Hale leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled. "Walk me through the timeline again," he said, voice calm but firm. Clara recounted every detail, every moment she thought she saw Emily, every sound, every shadow. David's jaw tightened, eyes darting toward the door, as if expecting Emily to walk in at any second. Lucas fidgeted silently, avoiding the detective's gaze. Marcus scribbled notes, his eyes narrowing when Clara mentioned the strange message from Lucas. "We'll do a full canvas," he said finally. But in his mind, he wondered, was this just a runaway? Or had Emily stumbled into something far darker than anyone imagined? Back at home, Claire returned to Emily's room, drawn by a compulsion she couldn't explain. Beneath a pile of notebooks, she found a crumpled scrap of paper. A cryptic note with Emily's hurried handwriting. "Don't trust what you see. Someone is watching." Her breath caught, and the room felt suddenly colder. David entered, noticing the note in her hand. What is it?" he asked, voice shaking. Clara's lips trembled. I think she knew someone was after her. Panic and realization collided. Emily had been in danger, but of whom and how close? Every shadow of the house now seemed alive with hidden eyes, every familiar corner potentially concealing threats they hadn't imagined. Night fell, and the house seemed to breathe with secrets. Clara sat by the window, staring into the darkened yard, every rustle of leaves sending jolts through her body. David remained in the hallway, silent, staring at the empty spaces Emily had once filled. The phone buzzed again, another message from Lucas. She left something outside. I think it's important. Clara's stomach turned. They moved to the garden, discovering a small box buried beneath the rose bushes. Inside were photos, scribbles, and a key, fragments of Emily's hidden life. A shiver ran down Clara's spine. The night was no longer just a cover of darkness. It was a veil hiding the terrifying truth. Someone knew, and Emily's disappearance was only the beginning. Clara spread Emily's papers across the kitchen table, piecing together her scattered notes. Look at this, David, she whispered, pointing to a sequence of numbers and letters. David leaned in, frowning. It doesn't make sense. It's like she was leaving clues. Lucas hovered nearby, cheeks pale. She asked me not to tell anyone. She was scared of someone at school, Someone powerful, he said, voice barely audible. Clara felt a chill. Emily's fear had been invisible, like a shadow no one saw until now. Every note, every sketch was a fragment of a puzzle they didn't yet understand. And with each fragment, the sense of danger grew heavier. Clara walked the block again, speaking to neighbors. But unease grew. Whispers followed her, and a few avoided eye contact. "I just want my daughter back," she said softly to a woman watering flowers. At home, David checked the security cameras, but they'd been mysteriously tampered with. Who would? David muttered. The realization hit. They weren't just looking for Emily. Someone was covering their tracks. Trust became a fragile thing. Every familiar face could hide a threat. The terror was no longer only about Emily being gone. It was that someone close might know more than they admitted. Late afternoon, Lucas finally broke down in the living room. Emily. She found something in the old library. She was hiding it from everyone. I don't know what it is, but someone dangerous is after her. Clara's eyes widened. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Lucas swallowed hard. I was scared. I didn't want to get her hurt. David's hand clenched the armrest. Fear, frustration, and guilt collided. The family's world shifted again. Emily's disappearance was not a random act. It was a targeted hunt, and the web was tightening around them. Clara confronted Sophia in the kitchen, voice trembling. You know something, don't you? Sophia froze, glancing at the window. I didn't think it was my place, she admitted quietly. Clara's stomach dropped. Emily trusted you. Did you see anything? Sophia shook her head but avoided her eyes. Clara realized fear and secrets ran deeper than she'd imagined. Someone outside the family had been silently watching, quietly influencing the events that had led to Emily's disappearance. That night, the James family heard a crash from the backyard. Clara's heart jumped as she grabbed a flashlight. David followed, tense, muscles coiled like a spring. In the garden, overturned plants and a faint footprint in the mud told a chilling story. Someone had been there, someone who knew they were searching. Clara's voice shook. They're watching us. Watching everything. The darkness no longer offered safety. It hid a predator, one step ahead of them. Fear tightened like a noose around the family, and every shadow became a suspect. Clara discovered a hidden compartment beneath Emily's bed. Her fingers shook as she pulled out a small, leather-bound journal. The pages were filled with notes, sketches, and strange symbols she didn't understand. David, look at this, she whispered, voice trembling. David leaned in, scanning the entries, eyes widening as he read. Emily had been investigating someone in the neighborhood, someone she suspected of dangerous secrets. Clara felt a lump in her throat. Her daughter's instincts had been right, and the danger was closer than they had feared. She knew, Clara murmured, and she was trying to warn us. David combed through the family's security system again, determined not to be blind to the truth. Hidden footage revealed a hooded figure lurking near the house, peering through windows in the early morning hours. Clara! Someone's been watching us, he said, voice tight. Clara's stomach sank. Emily must have seen them too. That's why she left clues. Panic and guilt coiled together. Every glance at the darkened windows, every creak in the house, now screamed of the threat they hadn't noticed until it was too late. Lucas appeared at the door, pale and breathless. I saw someone at school, following her. I think it's the same person, he said, voice shaking. Clara pulled him inside. Why didn't you tell us before? I was scared. I didn't want them to hurt her. Clara felt a wave of guilt crush her chest. Emily had tried to protect herself, and no one had been able to stop what was coming. Every clue now painted a terrifying picture. Emily had uncovered something someone powerful didn't want revealed, and the family was in real danger. Clara confronted Sophia again, this time with the journal in hand. Emily trusted you. Did you know about any of this? Sophia's eyes darted nervously, guilt etched on her face. I didn't think it was serious. But now, her voice trailed off. Clara's heart raced. Someone close had been silent while Emily faced danger. The realization was horrifying. Secrets and lies weren't just around them. They were part of the threat itself. That night, a shadow moved past the window. Clara froze. David grabbed a baseball bat, stepping cautiously toward the noise. The front door rattled violently, then stopped. A sense of unseen eyes pressed against them. Clara whispered, "And they know we're looking." The realization hit like ice. Emily's disappearance was not just about hiding. Someone wanted the family to feel fear, to understand powerlessness. Every sound in the house now carried menace, and the terror of what they didn't see was more potent than anything they could confront. Clara and David crouched behind the garden fence, eyes fixed on the shadowy figure moving among the rose bushes. "Stay quiet," David whispered, muscles taut. The figure froze, as if sensing them, then slowly turned toward the house. Clara's breath caught. "It's them. The one Emily warned us about." The night air was heavy, every rustle amplified in the silence. The figure stepped closer to the house, unaware of the eyes tracking them from the dark. Fear and fury collided inside Clara. Emily had faced this threat alone, and now the parents were ready to confront it. The figure suddenly lunged toward the garden gate. David swung the bat, forcing them back. Clara's voice rang out, "Who are you? Done with Emily?" The figure paused, a chilling smile visible in the dim light. "She found out. She shouldn't have." The voice hissed before vanishing into the shadows. Clara's heart raced. The encounter confirmed their worst fear. Emily's disappearance was no accident. Someone powerful, calculated, and dangerous had marked her, and the family had just glimpsed the edge of a threat far beyond their imagination. Lucas burst into the room moments later, breathless. "You can't stay here. They know everything. Our phones, the cameras, even the neighbors are being watched," he warned. Clara's hands shook. "Then what do we do?" David's jaw tightened. "Horrified. We fight, or we lose her forever." The room seemed to shrink with tension, the walls pressing in as the family realized the predator wasn't just outside. They were inside the periphery, always a step ahead. Emily's journal, the notes, the warning. They were running out of time. Clara noticed the basement door slightly ajar, a faint glow from inside. Compelled by a mix of dread and necessity, she descended first, David behind her, Lucas hesitating at the top. Inside, they found evidence of someone living in secret, personal items, maps of the neighborhood, and photographs of Emily. Clara gasped. They've been planning this, watching her every move. Every instinct screamed to run. Yet the family now knew the danger was intimate, real, and relentless. Emily was somewhere close, and the key to saving her lay within the walls of the house itself. Suddenly, a loud crash upstairs sent them scrambling. The hooded figure had returned. David grabbed Clara's hand, pulling her and Lucas toward the back door. "Run!" he shouted, heart pounding. They sprinted through the yard, branches clawing at them, mist swirling. Behind them, a window shattered, the figure disappearing with terrifying silence. Reaching the street, Clara gasped, clutching Emily's journal tightly. "They're always watching. We can't stop now," she whispered. Fear had become fuel, desperation a guiding force. The first confrontation was over, but the war had just begun. Clara sat across from Sophia in the living room, heart pounding. "Tell me the truth. Did you help them?" she demanded. Sophia's hands trembled, and she avoided eye contact. I thought I was protecting you all," she whispered, voice breaking. "But I told someone about Emily. I didn't know it would go this far." Clara's chest tightened, betrayal sliced sharper than fear. Someone they trusted had handed pieces of Emily's life to the very people who threatened her. David's fists clenched, jaw tight. "How could you?" he muttered, eyes dark with anger. The walls of their home, once a sanctuary, now felt like a trap built from lies. Clara rifled through Emily's journal again, noticing an entry she had overlooked. A name. Someone close to Sophia. "She trusted you. But you led them to her," Clara said, voice low, shaking. Sophia covered her face, tears spilling. "I didn't think they'd hurt her. I just wanted to protect myself too." David slammed a hand on the table. "Your protection almost destroyed our daughter." The truth was devastating. Betrayal wasn't random. It was personal, entwined with fear and selfish choices. Every secret now carried deadly consequences. Lucas spoke hesitantly. "I saw them together. Sophia and the hooded person. They met near the library when Emily was there." Clara froze. She knew. She planned it. David's hand clenched on his forehead. The realization hit hard. Betrayal had been woven quietly into their lives. Someone they thought was an ally had sided with the enemy, and every careful step they had taken was compromised. Fear and disbelief clashed in the room. Emily's life had been in the hands of someone trusted. And now, the family's next move had to be calculated perfectly, or it would be too late. The family gathered in the kitchen, urgency in every motion. "We can't trust anyone outside this room," Clara said firmly. David nodded, tightening his grip on a flashlight. Lucas clutched Emily's journal like a lifeline. Every decision mattered now. Every move could expose them further. The sense of betrayal fused with fear, but it also ignited determination. The family had been tested by lies, but they were no longer naive. Emily's clues, the journal, and their own instincts would guide them through the darkness ahead. That night, Sophia disappeared. Clara found the living room empty, a folded note on the table. "You'll need to move faster than me." Clara's hands shook as she read it. David looked at her, eyes dark with fury. "She's gone, and she's joined them." Fear turned to determination. Betrayal had become a weapon in the enemy's hands. The family realized the enemy was now twofold: the stranger outside and the traitor within. Every second counted. They had to follow Emily's trail and act before the betrayer or the enemy closed in. Clara's hands shook as she traced Emily's last known route using the journal and notes. "She left a pattern. A trail," she whispered. David scanned the neighborhood streets with binoculars, eyes sharp and vigilant. Lucas held a flashlight, illuminating the dark alleys. "I think I know where they might have taken her," Lucas said finally, voice trembling. Clara felt a spark of hope mixed with fear. Every second counted. The longer they waited, the more dangerous the situation became. The family had one chance to follow Emily's clues before the enemy vanished completely. The trail led them to an abandoned warehouse at the edge of town. Clara's heart pounded in her chest. "Stay close," David whispered. They crept through the shadows, every creak and distant sound amplifying fear. Lucas's hand shook as he held the flashlight. Suddenly, faint voices echoed from the upper floor. "Emily's voice!" Clara gasped. "She's here!" The adrenaline surged. Danger was immediate, but the chance to rescue Emily was finally within reach. Every step forward was a gamble. One mistake could cost them everything. On the upper floor, they spotted Emily, tied to a chair, bruised but conscious. A figure lurked in the shadows. "Sophia." "You shouldn't have come," Sophia said coldly, eyes hard. Clara's hands shook with fury. "Let her go." David stepped forward, fists clenched. Lucas trembled, clutching the journal. Sophia's expression twisted with fear and defiance. The room seemed to close in, the danger immediate. Every word, every movement carried weight. One wrong step could trigger disaster. Clara realized that the betrayal had led them here, and the moment of truth had arrived. Clara lunged forward, grabbing a heavy pipe, forcing Sophia to stumble back. Emily's eyes widened as Clara freed her hands. "Mom, you found me," she whispered. David blocked Sophia's path, while Lucas kept watch for any other threats. The power dynamic shifted instantly. The family, once hunted, now had control. Every second was critical, every movement precise. The danger was far from over, but for the first time, hope mingled with fear. They had a chance to reclaim Emily, to confront the betrayer, and to survive the nightmare that had haunted them. With Sophia momentarily subdued, Clara, David, Lucas, and Emily fled the warehouse into the night. Their breaths came in ragged gasps as adrenaline coursed through them. "She knows too much," Clara whispered, clutching Emily to her chest. Emily shook her head, tears streaming. "I only wanted to stop them. I didn't think it would go this far." David scanned the empty streets, wary of any pursuers. The family had escaped, but the revelation lingered. The betrayal had been close, personal, and dangerous. And the terrifying truth they had uncovered was only the beginning of what they would have to face. Back at their home, Clara spread every piece of Emily's journal, sketches, and photographs across the table. "We can't let them get away with this," she said, voice firm, eyes sharp. David nodded, scanning the notes. Lucas carefully documented everything on his phone, hands trembling but determined. Emily, bruised but resolute, pointed to specific clues she had left behind. "This is how they'll pay for what they did," she said quietly. The family realized that to survive and seek justice, they had to act not just with courage, but with precision. Every detail mattered. Every secret had its role. The family set up a plan to lure Sophia and the hooded figure into a controlled confrontation. Clara whispered instructions. "We stay together. No mistakes." David nodded, fists clenched. Lucas and Emily followed silently, adrenaline making every movement sharper. The night was still ominous and electric with tension. Every shadow could conceal a threat, every sound a warning. For the first time, they were no longer fleeing. They were ready to face the betrayal and reclaim control. Sophia and the hooded figure emerged from the shadows, unsuspecting. Clara stepped forward, voice strong. "It's over. We know everything." Sophia's eyes widened, guilt and fear mingling. The hooded figure froze, realizing the family had anticipated their moves. David and Lucas flanked Clara, ready to block escape. Emily stepped forward, calm and composed, despite her bruises. "You underestimated me," she said, her voice steady. The betrayer and the enemy now faced the consequences of their choices. Every secret, every lie, every act of cruelty had led them to this moment, a sudden distraction. A weak floorboard gave way under the hooded figure, sending them sprawling and alerting nearby neighbors and police. Clara's voice rang out. "It's over! You can't escape what you've done!" Panic and shock overtook the betrayers as authorities arrived, guided by Lucas's call earlier. Justice, swift and inevitable, unfolded. The family watched as the two threats were apprehended, realizing the terrifying power of choices and consequences. Karma had arrived, not a warning, but a reckoning. The family returned home, bruised but intact, silence heavy yet comforting. Clara held Emily close. "You're safe now," she whispered. David leaned against the doorway, exhausted but relieved. Lucas set down the journal, a small smile breaking his tension. The terror had ended, but the lessons remained. Trust, vigilance, courage, and the unrelenting consequences of secrets and lies. They had survived the nightmare, faced the betrayal, and witnessed the justice their actions had forced into motion. In the quiet night, a fragile peace settled over them, hard-earned, unforgettable, and resolute.